Hi everyone,
Hi Bhaskar. Morning.
very good morning. So, did you get a chance to create this community edition account? Anyone tried?
I tried basket.
Okay, so you created it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. So use this one. We don't need to install Python to practice your Python stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to continue the session wherever we stopped. In the last session, we have seen how we can declare the variables, and we talked about the data types, and we have seen a type conversion. We have come across it. And we have seen indexing and slicing. We came across it. So today I'm going to talk about specific to functions. So in order to deal with the string data, we have a string functions. So string functions we're having, and if you wanted to convert the characters into lowercase or uppercase, then we're going to use the functions or methods. So there is a slight difference between the functions and methods. Okay, so when I call, basically I used to call both of them as a functions. Okay, so that you can differentiate it if you're interested, but basically I used to call them as a functions. But there is a slight difference between the functions and methods. The functions are going to execute independent of data type, and this is going to be partially particular for it is going to be executed for particular data type when it is going for method. And there is a one more difference that you can see here. You're not specifying any variables. I mean to say functions will be identified by function name, but when it comes to method, that is going to be identified by variable name dot function name. You're going to use the function only, but when you call that function with the variable, then we can say it is a method. Okay, but in my terminology, I used to call both of them as a function only. Okay, so when you call the function directly without a variable, then we can say it is a function, and when you call the function with variable dot, then you can call it as a method. So that is not, no one will ask you what is method or what is a function. Okay, so most of the people can understand what you're trying to explain. So here string dot upper is one of the function that I'm having. Most of you already aware of it, even if you attempted my SQL sessions on weekend. I guess we talked about the string functions, right? So upper function will be used to convert all the characters into uppercase. Upper function is going to convert all the characters into uppercase. So I'm just giving the string, and if we say s dot upper, then it is going to convert all these characters into uppercase characters. So quite opposite to upper, we have a lower function, which is used to convert all the characters into lowercase. I'm just giving an example. You can try from your side. So this is not big difficulties to practice. You can try. Okay, so another function I'm just taking through here is swap case. So if you wanted to swap the cases, then you can use, that means if there is a lower uppercase, then lowercase. If there is a lowercase, then there is a uppercase. So it is going to swap the cases from one case to other case. Okay, so these functions will be helpful when someone asks something inside the Python. Okay, so some tricky questions they used to ask. So in that case, this may be helpful. In that case, we are going to use the swap case. And I'm just taking this entire thing. Let me show you here how exactly it is going to be swapped. You can see. So D is capital D is converted into lowercase and rest of the characters. I mean, say if there is a lowercase, that will be uppercase. Okay, so capitalize is going to capitalize the first word of first character. Only in the data it is going to convert. Okay, so what I'll do is capitalize. So when I use the capitalize function, here I have all characters are lowercase characters. But it is going to consider only the first word of the entire text will be converted into capital. Rest of all the characters will be into the lowercase. So that is the capitalize. Okay. And if you wanted to get the first character of each and every word, then we need to use the function called title. If you execute the same thing, then you can see the first character of every word is converted into uppercase. So if that is the case, then we are going to use the title function. Okay, so you have to understand the approach, what we are expecting to do it, so that we can easily handle it. So that is about the title. And the lower function and upper function is important when you go for any comparison. When you go for any comparison, then there is a chances to use those functions. You can feel that when you go for comparison, but capitalize, title, and swap case is not that much important. You can just ignore them. And even title, there is a chances if you wanted to convert the first character of every word, if you want to bring that as a upper, then you can go for that. But strip is going to be important again. If you wanted to remove the trailing and leading spaces, if you wanted to remove, then we have a strip function, and we have a L strip, and we have a R strip also. So this is equivalent to trim in SQL Server, R trim and L trim. So these functions will be used to remove the spaces. Okay, so I'm just going to take this one and show you here. So no space is there. And I'm just going to take the same example with L strip. String.L strip. You can see here there is a spaces. Here is the spaces. Okay, so like that, in the same way, you can use the R strip also. If you use R strip, let me keep here itself, or then it is going to remove the spaces in the, let me execute again. Now you can see. So R right side, the spaces were removed, but left side it is available. So if you want to remove both the side, then you can use the strip function. So that is how the strip is going to work. In order to remove the spaces, we are going to use that. And there is one more function, that is replace function. Replace function, if you attempted our SQL session, we talked about replace function, which is used to replace the find text with the new text. So here I'm just keeping one text here, good morning, and I'm just printing it. So here I'm taking s dot replace. I'm trying to find the good, and I'm going to replace with the bad. Just observe. The address will be different, and I told you, if you remember, we talked about all your fundamental data types are immutable. So immutable means you cannot change the value inside the string. First, S is created. There is a value called good morning. And you're replacing with this good with the bad. You're trying to replace this good with the bad. So what happens is it is going to create one more variable, one more address. It is going to have a bad morning, and S will be assigned to this address. And this will be removed by the garbage collector later. So addresses, I'm just trying to print what addresses we are having here with the help of ID function, and you can see the difference. So idea of this is different, and idea of bad morning is different, but both are stored inside the S only. So address is going to be changed. It is pointing to the new address. And the very next important function is the split function. 100% everyone is going to use the split function. So the name itself is saying that split is used to split the data. If you remember, in the data factory also we came across it. If you wanted to split that, when you have a employee.csv, and if you wanted to bring this part one side and this part one side, then we use the split function in the data factory. So here also we have the same function in order to split them. I have a text s equal to Azure Data Engineering is the string, and I wanted to split based on the space. So space is the separator, which is a default separator. We don't need to specify from outside. If you have a other separator, then you have to specify it. Now you can see when I split this one, what it is happening is this entire string is going to be converted into list. Okay, so what is the list? We'll talk about it. For time being, you just imagine it is going to split the data. We can split it with the help of split function. Very frequently, we are going to use this.
And what delimiter they use to split it?
A space is the default delimiter. Now let's say I have a different delimiter. So in this place, if the delimiter is different, you have to specify what delimiter it is. So when you deal with the text file, which is when you deal with the plain text file, in that case, we're going to use the split function, and even text file with comma separator. Okay, so with comma separator or tab separator, whatever the separators you're having, if you wanted to split them, then we are going to use the split function. Now here I have a comma separator for each and every word. So I'm just specifying the comma. You cannot give the space. By default, it is a space. You don't need to specify. Now, if I wanted to join multiple texts, first it will take, basically when you have a list of items, if you have, then if you wanted to join each and every item, here I have a 0, this is 1, and this is 2. We'll talk about this list more in detail in the future. In the next session, we are going to touch that. And this is one text star dot join. So join of s you're giving. So that means what happens is it takes the first value here. I hope it is going to take the first star. The star is the separator, and if I'm correct, it will be there something like Azure star or data star engineering. Let's see. Yeah, you can see. So this is the separator when it is joining each and every value. So this function also we are going to use at the time of working. Many times I came across it. So if you wanted to get the part of the text, you can also use the index. Okay, so index is used to find the position of the string. If you remember, in SQL Server, we have come across the function called char index. In Data Factory, we have seen index of. Okay, so in the same way, here we have a function called index only. Okay, so index is used to find the position of the character and returns an error if the string was not found. If you are having experience with Power BI, the equivalent of all these functions, we have a find function and we have a search function. Okay, so you can feel that if you understand the context, then you can try to find a function within the same, within the specific languages. Now here I'm just trying to find A. So A is available in the second position. B, H, A, S, A, R. So this is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So A is available in the second position. So it is giving the second here. And I'm trying to find a B. B is not available. Capital B is available, not lowercase b. So it is going to give an error. I told you here, if the match was not found, this function is going to return an error. And there is a one more function, that is a find function, which is going to handle your error case. So here I'm just trying to find A within the basket. A is available in the second position. And trying to find a B, it is not available. If match was not found, it is going to return -1. Because in Python, index starts from the 0. So if match was not found, that means it is going to return -1. In SQL Server, when match was not found, it returns 0. So place to place, it may varies, but the context of the requirement or context of the function is very much similar. So find function is available in the Power BI also. And if you want to find the how many number of times the specified characters are repeated, that is going to show you here with the help of count function. So mostly if I say count, then you may think that it is going to give the number of employees. But basically, if you go for aggregate, then that is true. But when you come to this function is a string function, string.count. So string.count, you have to specify what character you wanted to check, how many times it was existed. If you wanted to know that, then you can use the count function. You can use the count function. You can see here count. Inside this, we have a 2 times A is available. So it is going to give 2. And lowercase b is not available here. It is going to give a 0. 0 indicates it is not available. The specified b is not available is going to say. And another important function, we are also going to come across this at the time of DBFS commands. We are going to talk. So at the time of DBFS commands, we are going to see about this starts with, ends with. These two functions are available in the ADF also. In ADF also we have, and here I'm just trying to check is my name starts with B. These functions are going to return bool data types. So true or false is going to be written. The name is starting with the B, so it is going to give a true. And you're trying to say is starting with A. No, it is not starting with A, so it is going to give a false. And I have a ends with, quite opposite to starts with, we have a ends with function. This ends with is going to check is the string with ending with a specified character or not, or specified text. So R, it is ending with the R, so it is going to be true. And I'm just trying to check is that ending with A, it is going to say false. So if I wanted to get the files, let's say employee.csv department.json emp.csv, something like this. If I ask you, I wanted to read the data from the employee.csv, in the filter transformation, in the filter activity, if you remember, maybe you check that. Okay, so starts with, ends with. Here we are going to say item dot name. Okay, so I'm just going to say starts with. The syntax will be little different when you come to the data factory. Here you're going to say single quote CSV. Okay, so it is going to give only the files which are starting with the CSV. Starts with or ends with. This is the place it ends with. So I can write accordingly. The context is same. The syntax only is little different when you go for place to place. Okay, and there is a yes alpha numeric is another function. Okay, so for only for interview point of view, if they ask, then it may be helpful, but I did not come across anywhere, even from the students also. So it returns true if the text is having letters and digits. If I have a ABC 1, 2, 3, then it is a alphanumeric. So in that case, it is going to be true. If I give only ABC, then it is going to be false. Okay, so only if you have a letters, not only, yeah, only letters and digits. So special characters are not allowed. Now in this case, it is having alphanumeric, so it is going to give it true. But if I give a space here, space is also available, so automatically it is going to give a false. If I have a either, if I execute up to here also it is true, because either it is the alpha or numeric. But if you have a space, then it is going to be special character that is not going to be treated as alphanumeric. There is a one more function. Whatever the function starts with is going to return bool data type only, either true or false. So str of is alpha. It returns true if the entire text is having only letters. So here it is having entire is a text, so it is going to give it true. And here I'm having a number and text, so it is going to give a false, because it is alpha. And each digit is going to check, is going to return true if the entire text is having only digits. The text will be enclosed with the numbers. So now here I have a text, but in the form of numbers. These numbers are there in the form of text, so we can say it is true. But if I have a combination of that, then it is going to give a false, because you're checking is that digit or number. Is that digit you're asking? If it is numbers, then it returns true, else it returns false. And I have a is lower function and is upper function to check is the value, is the text is lower characters or not. It returns true if the entire text is having only lowercase characters, and upper, quite opposite to this, we have a upper. It returns if the entire text is having only uppercase.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
So if in the numbers only, for example, s is equal to number, if you give, then it will give each digit will give result, sir. If it is not enclosed in double quote.
That is not going to be treated as a number, right? You cannot use the function. These functions, let's say, is digit is there, right? Is digit is going to be applied on top of the string. String function it is. So you're specifying a equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you say a dot is string is digit, it is not going to work, because it is an integer data type. By default, it is going to take it as an int data type, right? So an int data type, we cannot call this function. This function is available on the string. Did you get my point?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, so key space is going to check is that space or not. If we have a spaces, then it is going to say true, else it is going to say false. So here I don't have the spaces. It is going to say false. So these are all basic functions. So I'm just walking you through this. And is title is going to have a something like, if you have a Azure data engineering, if I apply is title, then it is going to true, because every word of first character is in uppercase, so it is true. But here I'm just keeping everything in lowercase. If I apply is title, it is going to say false. And if you wanted to remove the prefix and suffix, then you can also use remove prefix to remove the starting of the text. This entire is the text. If I wanted to remove this prefix, then you have to pass inside this, you have to pass what value you wanted to remove from the prefix. In the same way, suffix, it is going to remove this ing, it is going to be removed. So these are all just basics only. The important functions in this particular case is starts with and ends with split function and
Upper, lower,
upper lower function, especially when you go for comparison.
title.
Title also, I don't think I did not come across it, but we can even consider that also. What else we come across it? Find function, if you wanted to find any position. Instead of using the index, you can go with the find. Mostly these functions is enough. Join function. So these functions are important. Any question with these functions?
Bhaskar, I have one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where immutable data types. So when we are replacing with the new, and not replacing, we are addressing the new value, right, for the variable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can we call based on index value, the variable value, the previous
No.
value?
Index is going to give. Okay, so can you repeat again your question?
Yeah, so I have a variable A. Okay,
Okay, let me write
first I
it.
said, yeah,
You're having variable A.
yeah,
What is there inside this?
10.
10.
Okay, so again I assign the variable A as 20. Okay, so when we apply index for a variable first time, so it will have different index, right?
ID
Uh,
of
type, yeah.
print of ID of.
ID.
Yes, it is going to be different.
Yeah, so can we call based on ID number? We are getting different IDs, right? For
How do you know what is the ID?
okay, so
ID is the address only. Address of the object.
mhm.
If you have a, let's say, name, you have the address of Anil is going to be there in some place. Okay, so if you don't know the address, then you cannot call it. Until unless you have a ID, I mean to say, what we can say, by using ID, you cannot get the value.
Okay. The previous value.
With variable reference, no, you cannot get this previous value. This will be discarded.
Okay, okay.
This will be removed immediately by your garbage collector.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you cannot get it.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. Let me check the order of this. Just give me a minute. I opened correct only. So till now we have seen fundamental data type. Okay, so fundamental data types we have seen. So these fundamental data types can store only one value at one shot. So A equals to 10, you can store, B equals to or 10.5, you can store, C equals to Bhaskar, you can store, and D equals to false. So all these are the single values only. If I wanted to store multiple values, then how you can store it? So only with the collections or with the advanced data types we can store it. So all these data types we can also call them as a containers where we are going to have a collection of items. So the very important data type that we are going to see is the list now. So list is used to store a list of values. So to get the list of the values, we have seen the lookup activity, get metadata activity, and filter activity. So these activities are going to give the collection of items. Okay, so from this one, we are going to give it to the for each. We're going to give it to the for each activity. Okay. So you're going to get little more clarity about it, about the list, and you feel how simple it is when you go for the Databricks. Very frequently, we're going to use it. So list is a mutable object. List is a mutable, but all the fundamental data types are immutable. We cannot modify it. But whereas the list can be used to modify. So modification means we can replace an item, or we can add the new item, or you can also remove the item. So that is going to be list. Okay, so let's talk about the list. So there are few points are available for the list. You just observe. List is one of the most used data type in Python, and it is very flexible. And list is an advanced data type where we can store multiple values. Each value inside the list can be called as an item. So if you remember, when we use item dot some column name, so the entire list is going to be represented, the entire list of items will be represented with item. And if you need that particular specific item, then we used to give the name of the column. In the same way here, the list will be there inside the list. Whatever is there, the list will be enclosed in this square brackets, square braces. So here is having 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 if we have. In this particular case, we can say this is an item. And this is also item. That is what I'm just trying to say here. Each value inside the list is called as an item. A list can have from 0 to multiple items. A list can have a 0 items also. So now this is if you have a 0 items, then we can say it is an empty list. We can say it is an empty list. Okay, and declaring a list is items will be separated by comma or enclosed within the square braces. Okay, so that means we are going to have a comma separator, and all these items will be enclosed within the square braces. All the items in a list do not need to be of the same data type. That means here, if you observe, all data types are integer data types. But I can also say 10, 20, a and true, something like this. So this is also possible. So we can have a heterogeneous data types. We don't need to have a homogeneous data types. We don't need to have a same data type. Because if you take an employee number, employee table, you'll be having employee number, you'll be having employee name, you'll be having salary, and you'll be having hire date, something like this. So this is a number, this is a text, this is a number, this is a date. We are not having same data types. So if you wanted to store this data in the list, you can store it. That is possible. And list is an ordered sequence of item. That means whatever the order you entered, in the same order it is going to preserve. So whatever the order you entered the items inside the list, the same order it is going to be saved. In the same order it will be saved. List can have a duplicated values. If you wanted to keep one more time 10, then you can keep it. That is possible. I told you a list is going to be with 0 items will be treated as a empty list. Now I'm just declaring the list here. You can see. Just observe. I have a list with the numbers. I'm just trying to print my list and I wanted to see what is the data type of this LST. LST is the name of the variable. You can also give A. And I'm just trying to see what is the ID of this list. Let's execute it and see the result. Of type is list and this is the address of this list. It is stored inside the memory with the address is this. And you can also see the different data types of the list. Here I'm not having same data type. You can see here integer is there, float is there, string is there, bool is there. So I can have a heterogeneous data types. It is going to give the same. Okay. Now, if remember, we have seen the indexing with the characters. So with the text we have seen indexing, we have seen with strings. So the way strings work for indexing, in the same way the list is also going to work. Okay, so I have a list here. When I print it, it's going to print as it is. Now you can see, I wanted to get only 10. The index is going to be there here is list of items we're having. This will be treated as a 0, 1, 2, and 3. If I need only first item, then I can say print of LST of 0. This is the indexing. Variable name, index position. Index position will be enclosed in a square bracket. Whatever it is, either it is a text or a list or tuple, anything. You're going to give the index number within the square braces. Now, if I execute it, we can see the first item. And if I need a second item, then I can say 1. You can say 10.5. Now, if I need 2, and if I need 3, you can see all together. Now I wanted to see the data type of the first item. Then I can say type of LST of 0. Type of LST of 1. Type of LST of 2. Type of LST of 3. Now just execute it and show you the data types. So different data types it is having, right? You can get the each item data type also. Each item, what data type we are storing. This is float, this is str, this is bool. So like this, you can have it.
But for every what I can say list of 0, list of 1, 2, for every line item, the ID is same or is it going to be different?
ID is same.
Okay.
Comma ID of LST.
LST 0 and LST 1.
No, we are not storing this value. We are not storing this value in any variable. We have a address is the list on. This entire thing
Okay.
is going to be there.
Okay.
Okay. But if you want to store them, then you have to store in separate variable. You got my point, right? Let's say A equals to LST of 0. In that case, it is going to get the address. Then I have a nested list. Okay, so nested list when you have, then how you can deal with the nested list is you can see a list inside a list. Okay, if I print it, it is going to give the same list to data type. Address is given. Okay, so if you wanted to see the address, that's not required. Just take out. Now, what I wanted to do is this is 0, this is 1, this is 3. Entire is 3. Entire list is 3. Now, if I wanted to get, let's say, print of LST of 0.
2 will not be there.
Sorry, can you repeat again?
2, 2, 0, 1, 2,
Oh,
right?
sorry, that is 2. Sorry. Typo it is.
Okay.
LST of 1 and print of LST of 2. Let's execute it. Now I can see. But I wanted to get this 30. How can you get the 30?
2 again 0, 2 after
Yeah,
2.
LST, what you're trying to get from this place. So this is there in the 2. So you have to give the 2. Then inside this, we have again 0, 1, 2. So I need a 30. Then you have to give 0 again, something like this. Okay, so this kind of approach we are going to use frequently at the time of working.
It works like an array.
Yes, it's list means array only.
Okay.
Basically in Java, we used to call them as an array, and even Scala also we have an array. But when it comes to the Python, the same thing will be treated as a list. Okay, so alternative, I mean to say, like there is a NumPy also. NumPy to deal with the, I mean to say this is a little slow and this will be little faster, but you need to have a NumPy module. Okay, so we don't need to know about the NumPy and all. So we require only list is enough for us. Okay, so indexing, you can say just provided. So print only first
But
item.
on real-time scenario, as you mentioned, it is list is slow and NumPy is fast. So what
Databricks
they
we are
use?
talking, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to the Databricks, there is no there is no slow. There will be always fast only. So Python works only with the single mission. So if they are going to deal with the collection of items, so single mission has to work, right?
Mhm.
So in that case, NumPy is going to be faster. They will convert that into array, and from the array they will apply the operations.
Can you repeat first?
Basically, Python works on a single mission. Works on single mission. Okay, you will be having multiple threads, but multiple threads is different and multiple nodes will be different. Okay, so single mission. So list will be slow if you have a more number of records, right? So what they used to do is they used to convert this into the NumPy. So once it is converted into NumPy, then it will be treated as an array. So they have NumPy functions. You can use the NumPy functions to apply the numeric operations. Only number operations, for number operations only, this NumPy is going to be helpful. That will be faster. Okay, so they did something and they gave this module for us, and you can, in my material, this NumPy also will be there. If you're interested, you can just have a look on it, but we are not going to be covered, and we are not going to be part of this NumPy as a data engineer. I mean to say with Azure Data Engineer. Okay, so this is important for data scientists, not for us. So if you want to get only the first item of the third item, so that means this is the 1, 2, 3, that means 0, 1, 2. From here, I wanted to get the third item. First item of third item means this is the one. So that is what I'm just giving here. So I don't want to talk the for loop now. We are going to talk about it. because I'm writing this many times print statement here. So I don't need to write this many times. Okay, so I can directly use the for loop. So one by one item, I can take it and I can print it. We'll talk about what is this for loop. List concatenation also is not required. You can just leave it. So as I said, lists are mutable. So mutable means we can change the value of the list. Okay, so let me show you here. I'm just going to explain directly here. Let's take this list. Print of LST, comma, type of LST, comma, ID of LST. Now, if I execute it here, you can see the list of items is there. So I wanted to replace this 10 with the 100. I wanted to replace this 10 with 100. So if it is a fundamental data type, we do not have a feasibility to do it, but when it comes to the advanced data type, we have it. So first position, you have to take the first position, LST of 0 equals to 100. So this is the assignment operator, 100 will be assigned and list will be updated. Now, if you observe here, I'm just going to say LST of 0 equals to 100. Now, if I print the same thing again, you can see the same address only. Let's execute it. Now you have 100 here. So that means it is mutable. You can change the value at any place. If you wanted to change the value, any place that you can change it. The same way, I'm just going to take this list. I wanted to update this 40 with 400. How can you do it? Can anyone give the answer?
LST 2,
Yes. LST
2,
2 of 1.
then 1 in the
One.
bracket 1.
Yes,
Equals to 100.
correct. Okay, so once you play some with list, once you play with different options, then you can get more clarity on the list. So apart from that, we have a list methods or list functions. Okay, so by using these functions, you can do addition, you can do replace and remove. When you go for add, there are a few functions that I'm going to use at the time of working. So especially the append. So how we can append the values to a list. If you remember, even in the data factory, we have a variable activity. Using that variable activity, you can specify the array type. And once you have the variable array type, if you wanted to add the values to that, if you wanted to append it, we have a append variable. Append variable activity is there. Okay, so data factories is not having that much flexibility, I feel. But if we come and do the same thing in the Python or Databricks, it is going to be very easy. You can use directly list.append function to append a new item to the list. Okay, so extend is also going to insert and it is going to add all these three functions will be used to append the items to the list. For removal, we have these three functions, remove, pop, and not insert. Only this two only is there. So there is a typo. And I have a, let's talk about this append first. Append is used to append an item at the end of the list. Now I have a list here with 10, 20, 30. I'm just trying to add 40 here. So list.append. So list.append, if I give 40 here, what happens is this 40 will be added 10, 20, 30. So once it is done, then output is going to get 10, 20, 30, 40. At the end, it is going to add. Your 40 is added at the end. So if you want to append the item at the end, then you can use append function. List.append. Okay, and if you wanted to append the float, you can append the float. This is also going to append at the end, 10.5. And then you're adding a true. Then it is going to have a true here. So now your list is going to have all these values, 10, 20, 30, 40, 10.5 and true up to here. And then you're taking a new list here. So up to here, it is the output you're going to get. Now I have a 10, 20, 30. You're trying to append a list of append. You can append a list also. Item can be either an integer. We have seen integer. We have seen the float. We have seen the string. I have not added, but bool we have seen here. And list now I'm passing here. So inside that, I'm just taking 40, 50. Inside the list also, you can pass it. So that is going to be appended to this list, that is 10, 20, 30. The output is going to get here, comma. This will be 40, 50. Something like this. So let me show you this, because this is a little different. So this will be printed here 10, 20, 30, comma. This entire thing will be taken as a one item. Let's execute it. Now you can see. But I wanted to append something like this, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. If you wanted to get this one, then you have to use extend. If you want to get that kind of result, then you're going to use the extend function. Now you can see here. It is used to add multiple items in a list. It adds an items individually at the end of the list. So here I'm declaring the list 10, 20, 30, and I'm just appending 40, 50, 60. So output you are going to get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. If you use extend. And I'm declaring here 10, 20, 30 and L dot extend. No, this is going to be like when you use the append, it is going to get something like this. 10, 20, 30, so 40, 50 and 60 if you use append. This is for append. And this is for extend. Okay, so depends on your requirement, you can do it. And then we have an insert function. I wanted to insert at a specific position. So at a specific indexing, I wanted to add it. So if you execute this one, you're going to get 10, 30, 40, 60. Now this is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. Now I wanted to insert a value at the 1. In the index position 1, I wanted to give it 20. A specific position, I wanted to take it. Then you have to use insert. This is also used to add a new item to the list. But you have to specify where do you want to insert, where do you want to keep. So index number you have to give, and then item you have to give it. So here I'm taking 1 and then 20. So after executing this, you're going to get 10, 20, 30, 40, 60. The index position will be adjusted accordingly. Now I wanted to take the index position 4. Now you can see this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the fourth position, I wanted to give the 50. In the fourth position, I wanted to give the 50. Already 60 is there. When you give the 40, when you give the 50 here, it is going to be moved to the next position. Okay, so the output of this is going to get something like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So something like this, you're going to get it. . Just see here. Okay, so 10, 30, 40, 60. So once you added the 20, then it is added 20. Once it is added 50, then 50 also is added. Okay. Now, if I wanted to remove the items from the list, then you can use the remove function. So remove and pop will be used to remove. So there is a slight difference between them in order to remove it. By using the remove, you can remove based on the item. You can specify the item. When you go for pop, you have to give the index number. So removal is possible based on the item, and removal is possible based on the item, based on the indexing also. So when you use the remove, it is used to remove an item from the list based on the value. If value is repeated, it removes the first value only. So that is also one point. So list here I'm having 10, 20, 30, 40, 10. Okay, so when I remove it, the 30 is going to be removed. And then you're going to have a output is going to be, when you execute up to here, when you execute up to here, your output will be 10, 20, 40, 10. And then you're trying to remove again 10. So there are two values are there, but only first value only will be removed. This value will be removed. Then your output will be 20, 40, 10. Is everyone agree with me? Let's see that.
Can we pass like array like LST in the square bracket 1 or 2 for a remove function instead of directly passing the
You're saying in place of this, if you have a list of lists, then you can do it.
just like LST 2
You're
instead of
saying
30. Yeah,
instead of 30, you're saying 2.
LST in LST. No. Remove where you have written 2 LST in the square brackets 2. Does it also remove?
This is the index position, LST value. Definitely it will be. LST of 2 is 20.
No, 30.
Oh, yeah, 30. So 30 will be removed. Let's see. Yeah.
Okay.
You're passing end of the day value only. And then
Because it is much better, na, which
yes,
one we need to remove it. Just like
but
you have 10 is
yeah,
10
basically
is
this is based on the value only, right?
uh-huh.
So if that is the case, you have to keep like you cannot give a guarantee, right? What value is there in the tool. So the intention of this remove function is based on the value. That value you can also, the better way is you can keep the value in the variable and you can keep the variable name here. Okay, so we cannot give a guarantee there will be always 30. Your intention is to remove the 30. But if there is no 30 in this position, so in place of that, you can give something like a equals to 30, and then you can pass a. Whatever the value you wanted to pass, you can pass it. Okay, so when you use this 10, it is removed only one time because only first 10 will be removed when you use this one, when you use the remove function. Now, if I wanted to remove the items based on the indexing, then you can use the pop function. So by default, it takes the index number -1. By default, it takes the index number -1. Now I have a list here and print pop1. It removes the 20 here because it is we are passing the index 1. Now just execute this one.
So when we use remove, if the value is not there, then we throw an error.
If value is not there, let's see.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, you're trying to remove which is not available, so it gives an error. X not in the list. 300 is not in the list. Then I have a delete also. You can delete the entire object. Okay, so you can try, but from your side, you can just do practice this one. List I have given, print, delete LST of 1, removes the first element. So if you wanted to delete the first element, you can use the delete, or if you wanted to delete the entire list, then you can use LST. Not only that, A equals to 10, delete A will be removed. A is not going to be available. So that is what it is happening here. Okay, so once it is deleted, if I try to print this here, it is not going to get it because it was removed. So entire object also can be removed with the help of del command. It is a command, it is not a function. So if you want to remove any range of the values, you can also specify the range of the values. And clear is going to clear all the items from the list, but empty list is going to be there. So that is the only difference when you compare with the delete and clear. So delete is going to remove the object. Clear is going to clear the items from the list and it's going to give the empty list. Just observe, before clear, there is a values, and after clear, there is a only empty list. And how many items are there in the list? If you wanted to know, then we are going to use the count. List of items is going to get with the count. This count, especially, we are going to use count, or not this one. Length will be used to know how many items are there in the list. Count is used to show how many times the item is there in the list. So how many times it is repeated. So that is going to give when you use this count function. Let's say so I'm just trying to show how many times one is available. How many times one is available? So one is available here, 1, here 2, so total 3. So 3 times it is available basically. Just observe. You can see 3 times it is available because this entire thing is a list. So that is not going to be calculated. So that is about the count function. And reverse function, if you wanted to reverse the text, you can use it. I told you, when you have a text. Okay, so I don't think for test also we have a reverse function, right? We have come across it, if I'm correct. Not sure, is there reverse or not? Let me show you. Name equals to Bhaskar. So if you wanted to print name of colon -1, is going to give the characters in the reverse order. The same thing. LST equals to LST of name and LST of LST dot reverse. Print LST. Okay, so again, I have to do some more thing here. Okay. So without reverse function, they asked me to do it. If that is the case, this is the answer. And if they don't give anything, then you can also do with the list also. If you're not getting this in mind, then you can also go for this, or you can also go with the for loop also. Various options are there. So multiple options are there in order to get it. So that is about the reverse function, to reverse the text in a reverse order. So list will be reversed. You can see 10, 20, 30 is there. When you reverse it, 30, 20, 10. 30, 20, 10. The
Master,
same way,
is it possible to reverse the word also?
word means
Word means, example, you are saying that, we say as data bricks. So I want, instead of data bricks, I want bricks data.
you have to work around. That is, everything is possible with Python.
Okay.
Okay, everything is possible. Only thing is you have to work around.
Okay.
Let's say
Data space brick.
list equals to data is there and bricks is there. That is what you're saying.
Data
Right?
and brick is a one single frame in the under one single bracket.
You have to do work around.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a text. Okay. S equals to S dot split.
Got it.
Dot reverse. Let's see. Result equals to print of res. Now I'm having this. So on top of this res, you can say res dot reverse. Just taking some variable, print of a. Texts are not getting reversed, but we can do it in a different way. You can work around it, then you can get the result. Okay, so that is what, maybe if I'm correct here, it will be there. So I'm just taking this one. So if you reverse it, text will be same to same. Okay, but this one you can work by doing some workaround. Definitely it is possible.
Thank you.
Okay. And then sort is there. In order to sort the numbers within the list, you can use the sort. Okay, so we'll do one thing. You just try from your side how you can do sorting, and sort reverse. If you wanted to go for descending order inside the sort function, you have to use the reverse equals to true. But when it comes to the Databricks, we don't need to go for sort. We have a Databricks in the Databricks itself. We have their own functions, their own API, right? So Databricks having its own functions. In order to sort it, in order to do any operations, we are having it. Only thing is, if you're not using the Databricks, then these functions may helpful, but some functions are going to be common. We are going to use as part of our Databricks journey also. Okay. So just 5 minutes, just give me 5 minutes only. There is one important question that people used to face. Even I face this one. Okay, so list dot copy. list dot copy. I have a list here, A equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, and B equals to A. So this is also is one type of copy only. Okay, so if I are saying A equals to something 10, 20, 30, 40, and if I say B equals to A, you're trying to copy this entire thing. It is a deep copy. We can call it as a deep copy. So what happens if I go for deep copy? Just observe. Now if I print it, you can see, and I wanted to see the address of both of them. Okay, so that is fine.
On the last we have.
Okay, let's, I'm just keeping at the end. So what is happening? You just try to understand it. What's happening here? First, I have a list with the name A. Otherwise, let me draw like this. I have a A. Inside the A, I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm just creating a B. B is another variable. It is not going to create a one more list. Address, you just imagine, address is something like address 1, ADDR1. And B is created. B is another variable, right? So it is going to point to the same address. So address of this A and B is same. Address of A and address of B is going to be same. Okay, because it is a deep copy. Okay, so let's see. I hope it will be same. Now I'm just trying to add 5 to the B. So B is also pointing to the same address. I'm trying to append 5 means 5 is going to be added at the end. Now, when I say print A also is going to have a 5 items and print B also is going to have a 5 items. Okay, and then we'll see the address of this two. What happens? You just observe. Just execute this. You can see here the difference. So first, when I print A, B, it is giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm adding a 5 to the B. Then I'm printing A and B. Again, same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I told you because it is a deep copy. It is pointing to the same. So when you say with equal operator, okay, so B equals to A, that entire is going to be there. It is not going to recreate the address, recreate the object. The same object will be used by both variables. If you do the changes in the B, the changes will be reflected in A. If you do the changes in A, the changes will be reflected in a B because it is a deep copy. Okay, deep copy means wherever you do the changes, either in A or B, is going to be affected in both places. Is everyone clear with the deep copy?
Yeah. Yes. So instead of doing deep copy, then we can do directly with the A, right? So in real-time scenario, is it how it works?
I'll come to the next point, then you can understand it.
Okay.
So depends on the requirement, you can go for that. Now I have a one more copy, that is swallow copy. So if you don't want to create a separate object, you can go for deep copy also. So many times you may come across 10.5 and B equals to A. That is a deep copy only. Of course, here it is not, I mean to say, this is not a mutable. So we don't need to worry about in this particular place. But when it comes to here, we have a collection of objects. So we are worrying about it. Now the swallow copy means it is always going to create a separate copy. Separate object is going to be there. So in my interview, they have given some variables, the way I have given a code, and then they asked me, what is the output? You just give me the output for each and every print statement. So that time I was confused because I did not work with the Python. This is a Python basically. Okay, so I did not come across any way to do this kind of swallow copy or deep copy. Later that I just try to explore on this. Now swallow copy is always going to create a separate object. Now here A is there. So variable A, I'm having here 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say address 1 it is. And then ID will be printed. So this will be printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be address 1 will be printed here. And gap will come. Now I'm taking A dot copy. So swallow copy is going to be saying A dot copy. A dot copy. When you say A dot copy, then it is a swallow copy. So separate object will be created for that. Okay, so separate object will be created. And I'm having B here. The values are going to be here something 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're trying to append the 5 here. So 5 you're appending in the B. If I print A is going to be same only. There will be no impact. There will be no impact. But here it is going to be only, it is going to change in this particular place only. So that is the swallow copy. So no impact if we have a swallow copy because we are doing it in one copy. A separate object it is. Address 2 will be there here. So addresses will be different. ID of A and ID of B, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ID of A is this one and ID of B is this one. 5 is added. So here it is. So this is the swallow copy. So only in interview point of view, I faced this question. I just wanted to walk you through this. But if you have a situation to use it, if you wanted to copy and if you wanted to apply separate operations on that particular set of data, then you have to go for a swallow copy only. Okay, your original copy will be as it is. No impact on the original copy. Otherwise, if you go with the deep copy, if you do changes in the new variable, then the changes will be affected in the main variable also. Okay. So this is about the list functions and list operations. Any question before stopping?
Sir, could you please explain POP, sir, once again?
Pop function will be used to remove the object based on the indexing. Okay, so let's say for example, I have a LST. LST equals to 10, 20, 30, 40. Now I wanted to remove, this is having 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. I wanted to remove the item of 2. Then list dot pop, inside pop you are going to pass 2. Then the output you are going to get 10, 20, 40. Understand my point? Based
Okay,
on
so
the index we are going to remove.
if we don't give index, then if you just
It
give
will not
list
work.
dot pop.
It will not work.
Okay, so
By
we have
default,
to-
it will, no. I think it is going to take the -1 by default. Let's try. LST equals to 10, 20, 30, 40. LST dot pop. Before that, let me print of LST. And then again print of LST. So -1 will be taken. If you don't pass any number, -1 will be the default one. Okay, so -1 means that is the 40. So 40 is removed.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, anyone else? Any question? Okay, then I'm stopping here. We'll see in the next session. Thank you for joining.